how to overcome your fear of what people think about you. If you want to find a quality relationship with an amazing woman and you want to feel more free in life, you have to let go of your fear of what the wrong people think about you. You are so worried of getting judged. The secret you have to understand is that in this life, you don't have the choice to not get judged. The only choice you have is who you want to get judged by. Do you want to get judged by losers for doing slightly unusual things? Or do you want to get judged by winners for not doing the unusual things? Because as Tony Robbins says, winners do what failures won't. Winners do what failures won't. They will take dating apps seriously. They will get professional pictures. They will understand concepts like social proof. They will study the dynamics of attraction. They will work on the communication skills. They will work on their confidence. They will learn to approach in person. They will overcome their mindset. They will put their ego aside. Losers won't do that. And chances are, if you've achieved any type of success in your life so far, be that in your business or in your career or in a hobby, jiu-jitsu, rock climbing, whatever it happens to be, then you have done slightly unusual things. You've put in an amount of work that other people haven't. And you have valued the outcome more than your little feelings in the moment. But it's not just about listening to pop psychology and saying, just ignore your emotions. No, understand what creates the negative emotions. This fear, this anxiety, this stress. It's the meaning you give the situation. For example, you're in a bar and you want to talk to a woman. Not clubs, you don't ever have to go to clubs. Clubs are retarded. But if you're in a bar and you want to talk to somebody, or during the day in a Whole Foods, you're worried, what are the other people around me going to think if they see me get rejected? What are they going to think? Well, first of all, you have to understand they're not thinking about you at all. Second of all, when you talk to her, they will unconsciously automatically assume that you know each other because it is so far outside of their realm of possibilities that you could even do an approach because they will never do it themselves ever. And lastly, even if they do see you get a full-blown rejection, they would only ever judge you if they are losers who don't take action themselves. I have gotten rejected more times than you have ever made love to yourself. That's probably a fact. I have gotten rejected many more times than you've ever put yourself out there. And that's fine. The same thing is true when it comes to cold calling, looking for investment and business opportunities. The same thing is true in so many areas of life. If you want to get a good result, you have to go through rejection. You have to expose yourself to the threatening stimulus. I was talking to a client here in Miami the other day, and he was saying, I have this fear of conflict. I really want to avoid conflict with my mother, with my father, be that with my boss or with people that I really care about. I really don't like conflict. Well, you haven't had enough. The way you overcome your fear of conflict and your conflict avoidance is one, by changing your mindset, and also by progressively desensitizing yourself to it. One, you give it a different meaning. You say, conflict means what? Having an argument with my mother means she doesn't love me. Okay, that's one of the biggest fears that we have because we don't get loved, we get abandoned from the tribe and we die. That's why these are our fears, our core fears. I'm not enough, I won't be loved, I will get abandoned from the tribe, and I will die. Those are our core fears. But you can also just understand that conflict delayed is conflict multiplied, the way Jordan Peterson says. Conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. There is no way to not have conflict. You're either going to have it now with her, or you're going to have it in the future, or with that person. And also, the conflict is already happening. Because if you don't say what you know you need to say, there is a conflict already present within you that will stay there, that will weaken you, that will mess with your self-esteem so heavily until you actually speak it. Now, the good thing is when you actually speak it, it'll only be there temporarily. If you communicate it effectively, if you're kind and loving and respectful about it, this is not about being abrasive or selfish or narcissistic. No, you say what needs to be said in a very calm, calibrated, loving manner. and you seek to understand first, then to be understood. 100%. But then you also just gotta do it. The reason you're worried about conflict is because you haven't had enough. Your brain thinks you're going to die when you have conflict. Your brain thinks you will get rejected from the tribe and something horrible is going to happen. So if you just expose yourself to situations where people might think bad of you, like filming a video in public, doing an approach, doing certain exercise, giving a speech in your business in front of other people, doing the thing you're afraid to do, stepping into constructive and loving conflict, you do that 30 times over the next couple of months, and you'll realize that the anxiety and the stress you have around it will decrease massively. You will never love conflict because in order to feel a connection to somebody, in order to feel connected and to feel love, there has to be a sense of peace. Well, temporarily at least, if that's one of our rules. So obviously we prefer it in the long term to not have conflict. But if you give conflict the meaning that it actually is an investment into the relationship, then you'll be able to step into it and you'll get the outcome that you want. Same with your fear of what people think of you. Just express yourself freely and do the thing you're afraid to do. Look whatever you're afraid of in the eye and go right through it. Because fear works like walls. The more you're worried of what people are going to think about you, and then you not do the thing, whatever the thing is, doing the approach, introducing yourself, expressing yourself freely, saying what you want to say on the date, the more you don't do that, the more fear will start building invisible walls around you. And these invisible walls will rob you of a beautiful experience in life. If you want to feel free in life, you got to look what you're afraid of in the eye, boom, and go right through it. Because otherwise you'll retreat, you'll retreat, you'll retreat. Fear paralyzes us, or we retreat. Or if we make it a habit, then we attack, not the person, but the fear itself, the circumstance, the challenge, whatever we're afraid of. And also, by the way, another useful mindset. We are just monkeys on a blue rock flying through space. There's millions, gazillions of galaxies. There will come a time where you will lie in bed at 80, 90, or 110 years of age, and you will look back on your life, and you'll wonder, did I play full out? There's a couple of questions you're going to ask yourself. Brandon Burchard says this. Really great point. At the end of your life, when you're lying there in the hospital bed with wrinkly skin, your body doesn't work anymore, you haven't made love to anybody and yourself for the last 2 decades, you will ask yourself, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Jack Cornfield says, really the only thing we're going to ask ourselves is, did I love well? But we're also going to ask ourselves, did I live? Or did I just play by imaginary rules? Now, you got to respect the law, and you got to respect people. But you can do whatever the hell you want to do, right up until the point where it starts interfering with somebody else's right to do the same. When you start interfering with other people's freedom of expression, and when you're starting to make other people heavily uncomfortable, that's exactly where you stop, because you want to be a functioning member of society. Freedom of expression should not go so far that you're not relatable anymore. Remember, there's authenticity and freedom of expression, but there's also effectiveness and relatability. You can do things that are so free and so authentic that 99% of society won't be able to relate to you anymore. And that's not okay either. I mean, it's okay, you could do it if you want to, but you will have a very hard time maintaining social connections. Another argument could also be, maybe you don't want to spend time with 99% of society and you're very selective. Yes, but you do want to live in a state of love and harmony with the world most of the time. You do want to put yourself out there. So when you're worried that people are going to judge you, let's say you're standing in a Starbucks and you're about to get a coffee, or you're in a gym and you want to introduce yourself to somebody, and you're worried, oh, what are these people going to think about me? Look these people in the eye. Look at them. Do you want to be them? Are these people you want to be? And it's not that you're judging them, but would you not rather be yourself? Are you not happy with who you are in a lot of ways? So why on earth would I worry about somebody judging me if I don't even want to be like that person? Look those people in the eye and understand that winners will judge you for not doing it. Only losers will judge you for doing slightly unusual things because winners have done it themselves. They've endured rejection, embarrassment, shame. They've done all of that. But ultimately, you got to ask yourself the question, what do I want more? A quality, meaningful relationship for the long term and quality relationships to other men, or do I want to avoid discomfort in the moment? Your avoidance of discomfort is exactly what has cost you quality relationships. You cannot get the gold without the dragon. Whatever you're avoiding most, that is exactly where the most amount of growth lies. And this doesn't mean that you have to go and do thousands of approaches or some nonsense. No, do learn to approach in person. You can get a quality relationship from dating apps, but express yourself more freely. Be a calibrated, respectful member of society, but start expressing yourself in ways that are authentic to you. Do the thing you know you need to do. Say the thing you need to say. And I see this with a lot of clients who are professional in their career, business owners. They sometimes speak maybe a little bit more quietly because they're worried that the people around us are going to hear what we're saying and they might disapprove of it. So what then usually happens is you go through a phase of, in the beginning, you don't express stuff at all. Then you overcompensate a bit where you become a little bit too loud. You're like, yeah, I'm going to show them. They will learn. And then you actually calibrate because you realize that's also just me being reactive. You know, when somebody learns something new, maybe somebody becomes Christian or somebody learns anything and then they go a little bit too hard on it and they're trying to persuade everybody else. Well, that's also reactionary. You want to do it because it's the right thing to do, not in reaction to anything else. Do the thing that's right for you. Because if you express yourself more freely, you become a better role model for your children or for your unborn children. Because children don't just learn from what we tell them. They also and largely model our behavior. And if you want your children to be free and happy, become free and happy.